Hey there, my friend Perry Tinsley here. Let's chat a moment about those moments and times when the treadmill feels more like a hamster wheel. Like, my gosh, I just keep spinning my wheels. I'm not into this anymore. I'm like just having salads. I'm kind of bored with it. And sometimes this little fitness journey that we get on because we're like, hey, I know my body was meant to move. Well, sometimes it feels more like a steep uphill climb rather than a stroll in the park. It's like, oh my gosh, does this ever get easier? Well, the good news is it doesn't have to stay that way. Sometimes people who stay the course will find that they'll get through it, but other times it takes a little bit of some strategies so that you can bring that spark back into your healthy lifestyle. We'll talk about that. And I am so glad that you're here on the Power Blast podcast. Welcome to you. This is where we provide nourishment for the soul, allowing you to transform from the inside out, providing rapid results in mindset. I always like to work on the mindset stuff and fitness so that you can recharge that battery of yours and reclaim your power. And before we get into all this great stuff, make sure you head over to my calendar. It's wide open for podcast viewers and listeners like you. That's over at talktoperry.com because it's all about keeping your energy high and reaching all of your goals. And when your energy's high, then you're able to do and achieve a lot more than if you're drained like a 6-year-old smartphone, 2% battery life, right? We do that in 15 minutes. Talktoperry.com. So I was thinking this past week, I don't know if if you're catching the video version of this, I don't know if you actually tune into the show on audio version. You can just grab that on any podcast app just by looking up my name, Perry Tinsley, or Power Blast Podcast. I've been talking about the power of your why. And a lot of times people have like, oh, I've heard that so many times. But really, if you're finding yourself more on the hamster wheel as opposed to, heading on a great, easy path on your health and fitness journey, just consider some of these things that I share with you. Be open to receive them. Because I think should you go and listen to those episodes, the why and the reasons why you are going after those goals and keeping that at the forefront, and they can change over years and time, but keeping that constantly as your mission, as your goal, as what it is and the reason why behind it, you tend to not stray as much as if kind of compared to when you have more of what I call like softer, fluffier goals, like, hey, I just want to get in shape and lose some weight. And we don't really put any parameters around it. We don't put a big, deep reason behind it other than I think I'll feel happier. I think my jeans will fit better. And so those factors typically don't motivate you when you're just feeling down and out. So let's just take a second, think about what are your goals? Do they still fire you up? And if the answer is no, then tweak it. Now, for me, initially it was, I want to lose this beer gut. And I was just like, but the thing was, I changed some things because I kept drifting further and further off course in my life with my health and fitness. And it seemed like it was too late in life for me. I was like, I'm overweight, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overworked. It's too late. I'm about to turn 40. But when I made the decision, some of the things that I'm sharing with you now, that's been 20 years ago now. Okay. And I was able to pivot and really dispel the myth of it's too late in life to do it. So I started taking things in 30, 60, 90-day chunks and flipping the script and saying, instead of having to have this result by this time, otherwise I'm done, I'm like, what if this is just a lifelong journey? What if this is just who I am now? A person who shows up for exercise, a person who is in this game so that I'm not following the blueprint that my family or some family members, friends, coworkers, people who are in that chapter of life that or maybe just a little bit ahead of me, they've left the blueprint of this is just the way life is going to be. I'm like, does it have to be? Do I have to stick to that story and that script? It was certainly evident that I was because I drift so far off course that I was in that pattern, but I recognized that I was. And I'm like, I can change that. All I got to do is make a committed decision for myself. And so, in order to dig into that why, I'm like, that is where I'm not falling into that blueprint anymore. This is not where I'm going. This is the lifestyle I'm having. Okay. And it wasn't for I'm going to have six pack abs. I'm going to have a certain size of gene. I got to see this number on the scale. Those things ended up happening, but those weren't the goals. Those weren't the deep reasons why. The why was I'm not going to follow that blueprint because I see all of the unhealthy. I see the unhealthy habits, but what's happening to people's bodies and minds and lifestyle because of those habits. And I'm like, I'm changing that. So I took it 30 days at a time. The way I do that is I set goals every month. Now I might have like, I'm going after this like 60 or 90 day fitness plan I'm following, but I still take my mindset into 30-day chunks. What do I want to accomplish the next 30 days? Then the next 30 days. And I just keep that going. I kept that going for 20 years. And I didn't look at it as a diet mentality of, well, I'm on this thing and I just can't wait to be done with it, so I'm off of it. I stopped that. I stopped that mindset. And I said, I am on this thing and I'm constantly going on this thing and I'm going to take a really cool journey. I'm going to challenge myself at different times in different ways. Sometimes it might be yoga. Sometimes it might be HIIT. Sometimes it might be a combo, strength training with some other cardio. Sometimes I'm working on mindset stuff, but it's always striving to improve what I'm doing, striving for an improved, healthy, fulfilling life, and striving to stay away from the blueprint create a new blueprint. I don't even want to give attention to the old blueprint. That's in the garbage. That's gone. It's shredded away, right? So that was one thing, shifting that mindset. Another one I believe in is to journal. Now, a lot of times people are like, oh, journal, that's hocus pocus stuff or whatever. That's, you know what? It can be as simple as, hey, I'm just writing down the meals I'm doing each day in the workouts. Other times it could be just some of the mindset stuff that keeps you going on your path. Use tools to keep you moving forward, especially if you're in a funk and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm getting off track or whatever. Why not use the tools that can get you and keep you back on that path that you desire, right? See, a lot of times we dismiss some things as woo-woo or fluff or whatever when it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't even given it a try. Let's do this. And that's how I coach and mentor many of my clients. We dig into that stuff, and it's amazing some of the things that reveal themselves as going from thoughts to paper. A lot of times people are like, I got it up here, until you don't. It's but you can get it down. Now, a little change can be good for the soul, especially when it comes to health and fitness stuff. Sometimes you got to mix it up a little bit. And this mentality of I've always done it this way and this is the way I've got to do it. You know what? It might be just challenging yourself in a different way. I used to be opposed to yoga. Nope. I'm not going to hold a pose and be uncomfortable. And no, there's no way I'm dedicating my time to do something like that when I know I can get a powerful workout just lifting some weights. But boy, when I decided, over the next 30 days, I'm going to give this yoga thing a whirl. And then I discovered the thing is you got to pay attention to your journey. And when you discover and you really pay attention and you start to become aware, you can then do things to improve on them. And I saw that yoga improved my strength training, my weights, my cardio, all these other things. I'm like, that's interesting. But I had pigeonholed it and put it into one of these woo-woo, way far out there type of exercises like, no way am I going to get into that. And I couldn't believe how calm I felt after doing it, right? Let's have a little heart-to-heart here about motivation. It's asking yourself, why do you want to stay fit? Like we were talking about earlier. Is it to have more energy, to feel good about yourself? Really digging into that why of yours, I think, is really going to be the fuel to keep you moving forward. And it's got to be beyond the why of I want to look good on vacation. I want to look good at the reunion or for that wedding, or I want the scale to be a certain number. You've got to expand that thinking. Should you not get to the audio version, The steps I said was write down your why. Why is it? And let's say it's a soft goal like I had. I want to lose my beer gut. Then say, oh, way cool. First step, that's great. Step 2, why do you want to lose your beer gut? Well, I'll feel good. My jeans will fit better. Cool. Why is having your jeans feel better and having that more confidence? Why is that important to you? And so you start doing it every time you write something down, you question, why is that important, or what will that do for you, or what enable you to do? You go 7 levels deep, you're in a much different place than, I kind of want to lose some weight and shape up. I'm tired of being sluggish. You'll dig into it, right? Give you more energy. Speaking of energy, hop on a call with me. I call it a recharge call. We do it in 15 minutes because so many of us bounce from thing to thing to thing. And I want to hear what you're struggling with, what goals you have, what's been an energy drain for you. And I'll tell you within 15 minutes of us talking together, which directions are going to be the best for you, where you're going to get the biggest results from, so that you can recharge your battery, charge up call, right? And reclaim your power, right? So, and if anything, hey, I'm gonna give you 3 strategies so that you can boost your energy, reclaim your time, and make you the priority so that you're not drifting off course. How does that sound? TalkToPerry.com is where my calendar is at. So, finally, get a little help from your friends. Thanks, Ringo. You see what I did there, right? But share the journey with others. People who will lift you up and support you. Maybe they'll join you along the way. We're all in this together, right? But just remember, this fitness is not just about what you see in the mirror. It's about choosing how you feel inside. It's got to be an inside-out job. And it's about choosing yourself and your health every day. One day at a time, one step at a time. Do it in 30-day increments. And it's amazing how fast 30 days goes by. I mean, you're going to be doing so many things. So extra motivation. A couple good books out there that I've read. One, Atomic Habits by James Clear. I think is cool. He always says in the beginning, it's more important to form the habit than it is to see the results. And Mindset, I think, by Carol Dweck, D-W-E-C-K, is a really good one too. But here, it's normal to feel off sometimes. Don't worry, you're not alone. That's why you tune into this podcast, right? It's, just to empower you and fuel you up. But just taking those steps, taking action is probably the best way to get out of a funk. But use these tools to really fuel you to keep going, because you can choose to use your power and take control, or you can choose to let justifications, excuses, claiming that you're busy and when life settles down and all the stories you tell yourself control you and drain your power. It really boils down to just deciding and committing. Got to take action to yourself and your goals, and choosing to figure out new ways, looking at possibilities, learning, growing, and keep moving forward. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. Drop those down in the comments. I do respond to those. I read them, and I'll give you a little shout out there. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to TalkToPerry.com. That's TalkToPerry.com. That's P-E-R-R-Y. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to UpsideDownFit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find this show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast. And always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.